how's your first week as a ex-international rugby player been?
I think it's dawned on me a little bit more this week. Oh, right, it's actually really happened. But initially, when I made the decision, and the week after, obviously I had a lot on my plate in terms of fielding off all the social media furore. Is that even the word? I think so. Which was, distracting for my mind, which was good fun. Yeah, it's alright, mate. I'm sad. I am sad. I've been sad about it.
I mean,
but I can look back on it with immense pride and got a lot of memories. Both, I look back on all the memories, good and bad, and cherish them.
Yeah.
Like the dark moments, I cherish, close to as much as the good moments because they're important. They shaped me.
what was the day you kind of packed your bags and left the camp? Which day was
Sunday night.
Before
the first night, yeah. We went. I'd obviously given it a lot of thought since the summer. This wasn't a jerk thing. It was been going on for a while, and my foot hasn't been great. I've struggled with my foot. I've struggled with my ankle since breaking it in the summer, and spending a lot of time at home during the rehab process obviously played its part. Like, we had a brilliant summer together, and it was like, right, okay, this is good. We're actually bonding. We're actually connecting here. But then I still got a contract. I still got a job to do. Still got to pay the mortgage and get back to it. And I still thought I had the fire burning in my belly. And I thought I'd give it a crack. And then I did the Girona week, and it was lovely in Girona. It was a nice spot, good weather, nice golf course, good group. But the training was like mega, always is, like, intense. And I sort of got to the end of that week, and I remember sitting there in the sun at the end of the last training session, like knackered, blowing out my ring, thinking, I can't do this anymore. Like, it feels like the game's passed me by now. I can't keep up. I can't do what I can't physically do what I think I can do anymore. It's not like there. I go, I think, and then you go, well, I can't do it. And it was sort of there that I was like, oh, how much longer can I flog a dead horse for? And then you start thinking, you go, oh, what am I on? Oh, I'm on 95 caps. Oh, I could squeeze out another, 5. Let's get to that 100. Then I go, what for? Just so you can turn around and say, oh, I've got 100 caps. And you go, those 5 extra games needed in order to say you've got 100 caps, they will never eclipse the memories, good and bad, that I've already made. And you're only doing it for the sake of 5 more caps. And actually, the level you need to be at to play international rugby, you can't just coast in there, mate. You can't just coast and do that. So I was like, no. And I've never been one for that. I've never been one for milestones. Like, people go, oh, it's great, you get fit, and you're like, yeah, it's great. But it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's about the memories and the experiences that you have across it, rather than the actual number.
Was there a sort of outpouring of emotion at any point? With a tear,
Yeah, the Sunday when I went to go back into camp, and I'd sort of made my mind up, and I was leaving the kids. I hadn't fully told them. I just kept it as, look, I'm going away still, but I'd made my own mind up. And then Maggie was crying her eyes out, and the weekend at home had felt different than before. Like, there was like an atmosphere in the house. There was a weird vibe about the place. It felt different than it had before. And Maggie was crying her eyes out about leaving. She was like, "Why do you have to keep going away and all this like?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's my job and all this like." And then you go, "No, it's my job, but I'm still choosing to do that job. I'm still like, there's always a choice. I'm still doing that." And I had to go in to see Steve in person. I got too much respect for the bloke, too much admiration for him to like just call him up and thingy, and the chances he's given me and the respect he's shown me. I had to go and tell him face to face, and I remember just getting in there just in the nick of time for the team meeting. And it was upstairs, and I knew I was like cutting it fine. And as I got in, everyone's in their England kit, the new purple kit. Everyone's all sat down with their notebooks and blah blah blah. And I think I was dressed in this, or similar. And I walked in, and Jamie, I hadn't quite started, and Elliot came up to me. I was like, "Fucking hell, mate, what have you been doing? Deer hunting or something? What? You've been out duck stalking?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "What the fuck do you look like?" I was like, "Cool." So I just sat down, and Steve was a bit like, "All right, mate, how you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, good." So the meeting went on, and they, planned out the week and talked about the New Zealand game. And then I just said to Steve, I said, "Oh, can I grab you for a minute?" And we went down in the bar and we spoke about it. I just told him pretty much what I told you guys there. And he seemed shocked. He seemed, gutted, but understood that I'd clearly given some thought to it, and it wasn't a knee jerk. He did come back with, "Do you not want one more game?" And I went, "What?" He was like, "What about one more game against South Africa? You and Coley, let's try and do that again." And I went, "Steve, it's really nasty. Really nasty, you putting that on my doorstep." He said, "Yeah, no, I get it, I understand, but I'm just saying." I went, "No, mate, that would only be one more game." I get the same point of what's the relevance of it apart from it's the last time or it's one more game. It won't eclipse the memories we'd already made. Do you know what I mean? And you've also got to be really, really good and really, really on it to go and take on the Springbok pack. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even if that's your point of difference, you've got to be on it. And so there was a little, I'd say there was probably 3% of me in that moment that was like, maybe. And then immediately was like, no, once you've decided, you've decided. And then he said, "Have you told Coley yet?" And I said, "No, not yet. I'm going to go up and see him now." And then I went up to see him, and I shouted at him. He was in the bedroom upstairs, and I shouted up to him, and he was like, "Yeah." I said, "Are you decent?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went up, and he just stood up. He was like, "What's up?" And then I just hugged him, and then I just started crying in his arms. And that was the outpouring of emotion of like, it's done. Like I've made the decision. The weight of it just gone. And then we sat down, and he said, "What's up?" And I said, "I'm done." And he said, "Yeah, I thought you were, mate." And then we just hashed it out, explained to him with the family and putting them first, and he understood, and it was really good, really good. It was sad and gutting to tell him, but it was really good.